Hey, my name is Bep. I am not much of a Tolkien guy. Thankfully, this game is non-canon anyway, so it doesn't matter at all. I was also mistaken in the outro to Unpacking, by the way. Shadow of War was the one I had played and become annoyed with. Let's grab some orcs by the face and get going. Oh, nope, actually, last note. I will use orc and uruk interchangeably, a choice that is lore-friendly. Get off my ass. Shadow of Mordor stars Talion, a guy whose family is so obviously getting murdered it's almost not even worth talking about it. I feel like this is supposed to make me feel something, but at this point, I'm so adjusted to protagonist loved ones getting killed for the plot so that they can do their big old adventure that I'm kind of bored of it, psychopathic as that sounds. More important to the story is that Talion gets his body cohabitated by Celebrimbor, Elven Dickhead, and the smith who forged the One Ring. Your objective is simple. Take revenge on Sauron's top man, the Black Hand, and kill a whole lot of Uruks on the way. So how do we actually do that killing? Talion and Celebrimbor fight in tandem in a Batman Arkham style, except we're a lot more honest about the damage inflicted. You have your bonk, counter, jump over guys, stun. You can also pull out your bow and dome people mid-fight with charge headshots killing any enemy short of a captain, and even some of those. As you level up and become stronger, you get a wide variety of finishers, fire arrows, instant murder, instant possession, a stun that sucks against most enemies, and an AoE kill on stun enemies I don't think I ever even used. Celebrimbor's presence enables your more magical abilities and also lets you counter 2 orcs at once, which makes big gang fights a lot more fluid as you're less likely to get your head caved in instantly. I can't tell if playing like 13 Yakuza games made me better at brawlers, or if I just had a little more patience than normal, but I really enjoyed going solo against an entire warband. Combat being boring is the biggest crime a game like this can commit, and there's a lot of brawlers where fighting becomes a motherfucking chore. The lion's share of the combat staying interesting has to do with the Nemesis system. Captains, war chiefs, even random orcs that manage to kill you will remember your interactions and comment on them. Anytime I had to fall back because I was being overwhelmed or I just passed by them on the way somewhere else, they would talk shit the next time we fought. This was shockingly motivating for me, even though most of them were interchangeable mooks who just had a little higher power level than the mob. One Uruk, Gimub the Poet, managed to survive getting shot in the head 3 times and kept coming back for more, to the point that if I had saw him again, I was going to let him live. Orcs can come back from anything short of getting their head chopped off, meaning that anytime I killed a captain with an explosion or stabbed him through the chest in a finisher, part of me wondered if I would see them again. I started learning the names of genuinely tough captains I had trouble killing, especially like Lorm the Butcher, a durable bastard I had to retreat from multiple times. Having to gather my own intel via other captains or worm enemies was a lot more fun because I never really knew how it was going to shake out. Damn, I didn't even talk about what the game itself is like, although, to be fair, most of it is just busy work between brawls. For the Platinum, we gotta hunt down all the artifacts, complete the Ifildin, a kind of elven mural that tells more of Celebrimbor's story, finish weapon-specific side missions, survivalist challenges, hunting challenges, and unlock all the Forge Towers. That sounds like a lot of annoying shit, but it's easier than you think. The Ifildin and artifacts are running around kinds of busy work. The other challenges get occasionally hamstrung by hard stopping until you do more of the story. The Forge Towers are the highest priority as they're both fast travel and checkpoints. Although the game is non-canon, you do get to see a familiar face as Gollum is here. Fanboying for the elf who made the One Ring. I think it's maybe to make Celebrimbor remember his past and make more bad choices. And I'm fucking sorry, how tall is Gollum? Jesus, apparently he doesn't have a canon height that I can find at least, but man, knowing he stands this high is genuinely unsettling. But you do meet some fun and very new side characters, including the slimy and ambitious Uruk Ratbag, Dwarven Hunter Torvin, Rogue Ranger Hergon, as well as the mother-daughter duo of Queen Marwen and Lothariel. They all feel deep enough for their role in the story, where they check in for when they're needed and slip out when they're done. I do appreciate that your undying nature is part of the narrative and why others are so willing to send you specifically into danger. My favorites among these are easily Torvin and Ratbag, both because their interplay with Talion is fun and they have clear objectives that they're willing to work with us to achieve. Celebrimbor is technically a protagonist, but I want to talk about him a little because I love how much of a fucking asshole he is. It's entirely believable to me that he was sought out to forge the One Ring because he's such an arrogant prick that he'd be easy to hoodwink if you massage his ego. You have 2 zones to rampage through, Udun and Nurn, each having its own geography, challenges, and most importantly, captains and war chiefs. Part of my beef with Shadow of War is that you get the ability to brand and take over orcs so early, so I felt the internal pressure to brand as many captains as possible, but here, I don't get that shit till late game. I have none of that pressure. Actually, to unlock more skills, you need to fight and kill captains, either on missions or in the wild, and these factors led me to hunt and kill every captain that I came across. Sometimes passively, sometimes actively tracking down the entire lower rank so I could unlock some new shit. This felt pretty freeing, and the Ambush Predator playstyle of Deus Ex coming back yet again. Shockingly recurring character. I haven't talked much about stealth since I only used it to start fights or if a quest demanded it of me, but there's a small touch that's so fucking nice. When an orc discovers you, there's a moment of shock on their end, and if you're fast enough, you can still make a stealth attack in that small window and kill or brand them. It means that you can actually fuck up, and it doesn't just turn off stealth entirely. But, since fighting is also pretty fun, there's not a huge loss when you do get popped. But I was talking about zones before I got distracted. Let me get back to that. Udun and Nurn are visually distinct, and I love how fun they are to explore. Udun is a land of muck and blood. The earth itself is corrupted by the presence of the Uruk and the influence of Sauron, and it constantly feels like it's pressing down on you. Nurn is an untamed wild, actively fighting back against the incursions of the forces of darkness, with its denser Caragors, a kind of horrifying cat beast, ghouls, little humanoid swarm enemies, and the Graug, a big tough bastard who can take out a lot of orcs when it's controlled. It's brighter and healthier than Udun, but you can see the color starting to wash out as the Uruk place the land under their thumb. Both zones are perfectly sized for what they are, asking you to explore, but leaving few stretches devoid of either collectible item or visual interest. I was frequently passing through on my way somewhere, using the smooth parkour to move up and down at great speed, but would always take a little time to appreciate the willingness to just put a big fuck-off mountain in the middle of the map because it looks cool, and also helps orient you. Nurn specifically has this kind of dual-prong design at the top and a wide, dense bottom that reminds you of an animal skull. I ended up learning it pretty well for reasons I'll get to in a minute. Let's talk about completion before we get to the DLC. A lot of it is just doing all the side stuff or taking specific actions on missions. Some ask you to blow up orcs using detonate or poison a captain at their feast. So the two I'm going to highlight are the White Rider and a Mighty Doom. White Rider is easy, but not something you're probably going to do accidentally on your own. Grab a Caragor, run in this little circuit that I'm showing you now, and shoot Uruk in the head if they have human slaves. I had a rune that let me reload off of my mount for free, but if you don't, then don't miss. You have a lot more time than you think. God, I love how nice the shooting feels. It is very fluid. A Mighty Doom is easily the most annoying one in the base game. You need to get a level 25 rune to drop. Captains and war chiefs drop runes on death, by the way. That hasn't been important before right now, because I didn't really want to get into all the weeds of that. The level of the rune is determined by a few factors. The base level is determined by the orc in question. In the base game, they cap at level 20, so you need to find a way to bump those levels up. Being a war chief adds 2 levels. Having intel on them from a warmer, a captain gives 1. The guy having bushwhacked you before adds 1. And exploiting a fear adds 1. The problem is that this is a pain in the ass to set up with just a right suite of hates and fears. And also to guarantee that you won't get an epic rune, instead, your branded squad has to kill him, and they are stupid. This took a couple of hours on its own, but it was the only real point of friction in the main game. So now let's go on to Lord of the Hunt. This is a short sequel campaign where you team up with Torvin and take on a new crop of Beastmaster war chiefs. It adds some new beasts to wrangle, a tougher, stealthier Caragor, a greater presence of the swarming gulls, and the wretched Graug, Rancor by way of Nurgle. A lot of this is pretty similar to the core game, with some new mount-based powers and ways to fight creatures more often. I don't like spoiling story too much, but the ability to use a combo finisher to brand masses of gulls, which leads to a giant gang fight in a cavern, was a pretty fucking cool set piece. Wretched Graugs also have the ability to one-shot captains with a big ol' crunch, and that honestly fucking rules. The DLC has a lot more Torvin as well, so I have no notes on that front. I wish there was Ratbag, but you know. Rip to the goat. The hardest achievement for me was Gulls Gone Wild, where you have to brand gulls, make them crawl on a Graug, and then blow them up like little suicide bombers to kill it. Unfortunately, Graugs are real fucking tough, so you have to soften the big boy just enough so the explosion kills him, but not so little that he lives on a sliver, but not so low that a random Caragor murders his ass, because they can just kind of do that. I don't really have a lot to say on this DLC. It was a fun little bite-sized adventure. Next we have the Bright Lord, where you get a really unvarnished look into how much of a fucking prick Celebrimbor is. This one takes place before the main story, before our favorite elven asshole got his shit pushed in. His power set is a little different than Talion's, notably having access to the One Ring and being able to mass brand all orcs, so the tide turns and fights way faster. The biggest issue for me is that he doesn't have slowdown when shooting the bow, so it's a lot harder to use for crowd clear, but you can summon crowds of orcs to fight a lot easier, so it kind of balances out. Easily my favorite bits here is anytime you make progress, Sauron and Celebrimbor snipe back and forth at each other like the catty bastards they are.
You will find no release, no peace, no victory. You will never see your family again.
Mordor, mine. Your threats will turn to dust as I take everything from you. Your ring, your armies, your power, all mine!
Ex-boyfriend energy. Honestly, it's a lot shorter than Lord of the Hunt, to the point where I don't have a lot to remark on. Even the achievements are easier, very few even needing concerted effort. I got most of it through normal gameplay. Then we have the tests. I put these off for last because they looked like they were going to be absolute fucking bastards. First up, we have the test of the ring. We have to take control of Celebrimbor and do the following. Kill 5 war chiefs and 12 captains. Brand 8 war chiefs and or captains. Brand 50 Uruks. Complete in 60 minutes. Branding 50 Uruks is barely a speed bump. Honestly, I did it by accident. I'm not even going to talk about it. I almost doubled it. To track in our captains, we're going to make use of our orc squadrons. Drop off the tower that you start on, summon them, dominate all 5 to get a name, then fast travel to the same tower and do it again. Once you have all the captains, work your way around the map in a sweep and deal with all the ones you come across. Which ones you brand and which ones you kill is kind of arbitrary, but keep in mind that your captains can get themselves killed and fail your branding objective, so balance who is easiest to handle with who is tough enough to survive. I kind of made these choices based on vibes, so grain of salt. As you move around and brand captains, use them and any easy access to worms to get the identities of the war chiefs. Focus fire the captains, because killing them will make other Uruks scatter, and move on quickly enough each time you take one down. Going to the map quickly right after a captain or war chief kill lets you fast travel as the remnants scatter. If there's more than one in a group fight, or just a bad spot to escape, pop your One Ring and just go to town with your unlimited finishers. After you clear the lower ranks, it's time for the war chiefs. Some of these fuckers are tough, and their missions can really waste time if you pull bad ones, so again, some of this really just is luck. Very important, do not brand war chiefs. Do not do it. You need to kill 5 to succeed, so branding them is a literal waste of your time. As long as you play well, the time constraint does loom over you, but not too largely. I completed my run in 53 minutes, leaving me a nice little buffer. I also did this on my second try, the first one earning a reset in about 20 minutes. I did very nearly choke at the last second, but I would have killed that guy with the next shot I took at him even if I did, and that's the Lord of the Ring god. I also had to get a level 30 rune in the trial the same way I did the level 25 one. Not a whole lot worth noting, except this one was also fucking annoying, but it was faster. Finally, his Test of the Wild using the powers of the Lord of the Hunt DLC. This achievement entails: kill all 5 war chiefs and 20 captains. Earn 13,000 points. Kill 10 captains with monsters. Complete in 40 minutes. That last one is the killer. Most of my runs died on the vine because without a sufficiently hot start, there's literally not a fucking point. So how does that start go? Opening salvo is to pivot on your heel, shadow strike to this area. Do not kill these orcs if there's 2. Knock one down, grab the other, dominate him to get a captain location, then kill him, grab the other Uruk and do it again. Fast travel back to the nearby tower and repeat. You want to get all the captains, using any worms or intel from freed humans to hit the war chiefs looking for specifically Ugakuga Graug Rider. If you get to the end of this process in slower than 6 minutes or missing Ugakuga, honestly just reset. If you get that done in a reasonable amount of time, move to step 2. Grab a Caragor, run to this Graug bait, kill the Caragor for points, and take over the Graug. This guy is what will make or break the run. We have to eat at least 10 captains with monsters, and unless a given captain has a fear of Graugs and will run on site, the eat attack will instantly kill whoever it grabs. From where you are, plot a course around the map for free roaming captains and eat all of them. You need 10, which might be impossible based on layout, as the stronghold in the northwest is impassable with a Graug, and the northeast one only lets you in the opening area. Because the Graug always kills faster than you, you want to use them to get as many kills as possible. But if you have more than 10 you can get to and can't find one, just move on. After you chomp the requisite number of guys or run out once you hit over that number, use a Graug to get close to the next captain and kill that motherfucker for the points. At this point, you really need to speed through as many captains as possible. Events will force one to appear, with duels or executions netting you a pair. Once you get all or most of them, we're going after Uga Kuga. We have one main objective here, and that is to brand him. We need to make some progress quickly, so be very careful to not kill him. Once you nab him, grab him, and command him to attack another war chief. This will spawn a brawl out in a field that brings the big targets out without the rigmarole of the quest. Most of the fights are pretty reasonable, but Chogfluk, a Ghoul Keeper, is an absolute bastard who you can do basically nothing to. The only strat is to build up enough combo to brand his men and let the Uruk beat him to death, which can take way more time than I'd like to admit. Once you get to the end, you can pop Ugakuga, which I do here a little too early, and then the test will end on the death of the last captain. Came in right under the wire. 39 minutes, 11 captains eaten, and... I'm just a silly little guy, you know. There's always, I make giant jokes and I talk about video games, but this fucking, I wanted to kill myself. This was awful. I hated every part of this. I'm so close to the mic right now. I could take a bite out of it, and it feels like the game is taking a bite out of my fucking soul. But we gotta do it again. So many runs collapse immediately, one of which went for 20 minutes before I knew it was cooked. The strategy is the same though. This time I learned that you can grab Uga Kuga right after the conclusion of a brawl and send him on to the next one immediately, saving the time to resummon him from his specific little event. I also took the time to pull myself damn near the line, spending my gained minutes killing some Karagors for quick points, making a damn sure the last captain would get me to 13k. I was so much more confident and quicker on the draw. I did have a moment of panic when the last captain had a fear trigger and ran, but a solid Shadow Strike got me in range to just tee off on him. 2 minutes faster, 12 captains eaten, and 14,000 points earns us the Hunt is My Mistress. That's it. We are done. This one was as tough as it was fun, and it was plenty of fun. I thought this was going to be some overworld slop that I hated from an IP that I'm only sort of invested in, but I actually had a blast. This was a lot of fun, even if the Hunt is My Mistress fucking sucks. Don't do that to yourself, please. But it is time to see where we're going next. It is wheel time. Okay. I love that I forget how to do this like every fucking time. It's almost a skill. Alright.
Wheel.
You ready?
Wheel. Stretch. Oh.
Dr. Doom, it looks like. Dr. Doom. 15. Shame Ryan isn't here.
Let's go! It's finally me!
Ooh.
Let's go! Alright,
okay.
so this is
Did
the DLC.
Did you put
Yes, I put them
Whistleblower and Outlast
Yes.
separately?
Yes, I did.
Alright, so I'm just gonna have to do both.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to do Outlast first to do the Whistleblower.
Correct.
Yes.
But I'm gonna do them at once.
I'm so okay. I will say the Whistleblower is the DLC. Not that long at all. Not that long.
Yeah. So, no. My point is that which wedge is
Oh, I see.
Outlast, regular Outlast.
Hang on. Oh, I finally got Pig, bro. Let's go. I'm excited.
Outlast is gonna be cool.
I love that. It's my
It'll
favorite
be-
horror game. That
it'll
movie
be a
rock.
time.
That game rocks.
I still gotta do the entire process for Shadow of Mordor before I get to it. But I know it's like a.
I don't really
reasonable
like.
length.
I don't take you as one for spooky games usually.
I can. It has to like. Generally, it's not what I'll pick as my first order, but like. Sometimes I really fuck with them, you know.
It's Sonic, so I'll take it off.
All right. So which one? What number was Sonic?
6.
6. So that's Outlast. All right, they're the same. Just Outlast Whistleblower. All right. So I gotta do them both.
Hell yeah!
Fuck yeah, bro.
I remember this game being like a huge deal.
So I also do, and it holds up pretty good because of course I finished it 2 years ago, and it's not only are the horror mechanics I think pretty unmatched, but the story is actually really fucking interesting. So
I know a little
that
bit,
part's awesome.
but I guess we will fucking see. Huh. We're going from heavily armed to harmless. This was my first horror game in a minute. Outlast is an all-timer though, so I think this is going to be a fucking blast. Also, Sil finally got picked, so you can stop bitching about it, motherfucker. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you. Later.